Okay, so we've got a good share on there, and it's just after passing 7, so we'll get a move on with things just out of respect for everyone that's here on time. First of all, I suppose, thanks very much for all attending. We got a great response. So far, I think there was nearly 100 invites sent out, so thanks for showing such an interest. Be sure just maybe put into the chat or something if you're finding it hard to hear me or any of the talkers. Apart from that, I ask you to leave the chat alone. Any questions you may have, please email me to direct. And then I'll ask the questions at the end, at the questions and answers part. Okay. So just a small bit to go through. Look, I suppose we're having this conference held by the association. We're a relatively new company, having only started since Brexit, but we've been in existence for 130 years in Association of Scotland. So we're just trying to keep the thing moving forward and making sure we stay at the forefront. And we're very thankful for ICBF and their own office aside just for allowing us to do this and allowing us to share the expertise we have and share the knowledge and profiles that many of our geneticists in Ireland have. Look, I suppose as pedigree breeders, we're always at the forefront, and that's where we need to stay. So the breeding decisions we make now impact the consumer 5-6 years down the line. So we just have to make sure that we're the furthest on in decisions we make are the right ones, because the impact won't be felt for many years. Breeding has changed a lot, I suppose, in the last few decades, where once it was just cattle were bred to feed our own families at home. Now we're feeding an increasingly growing population. And on top of this, there's a constant string of stumbling blocks coming against us, be it climate, food eating habits, and even land availability. So look, we need to be sure the decisions we're making are the right ones, and how we're going to do that is through science, through education and implementation of the breeding programs, best breeding programs that we can. And look, that's what's going to keep, I suppose, the Angus breed on top, but also keep cattle in good light when it comes to the general public. So that is why we have a super panel here tonight. Throughout the night, I'll just give you a brief rundown of the process, what the timetable for the night. So we're going to kick off here with my right-hand woman, Felicity McGrath. She looks after all of EU and is our technical manager here in the Irish Aberdeen-Angus Association, a Trojan worker. And look, you'll get a bit of an insight on what she's looking after, our registration process, how we're going to do it for EU going forward. So at the moment, we've got 14 different countries registering with us, and that's continually growing. And just how we can do that as with 2 of us in the office and a council, you know. So there's also going to go through the different processes of registering our calves, from be it genotyping the bull calves all the way through to what's required to get into our herd book. So after that, we're going to go on to maybe a bit of a background there on the genetic indices we currently have in Ireland, for some of the people that are maybe more up to date with it, especially for outside Ireland attendees. So we're going to go through the Eurostars, DBI, and a number of other traits and where they come from. And we're lucky to have Siobhan in here from ICBF to talk through that with us. Moving on, then we've got Ross Evans again, another leading geneticist with ICBF, and he's going to talk through the genomics and its role in our breeding program. Look, I suppose we're fortunate enough to work very, very closely with ICBF, who are leaders in the genetics field, not just nationally but globally. And we're lucky enough to have them to hand and to answer all our questions. And look, I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions from tonight, so just be sure to pop them in an email to me, and I'll ask as many as we can or have time for at the end. Moving on after that, There's a place I was just in last week, was the Tully Beef Performance Centre. And this has been there for a number of years, recording feed intake, feed conversion, and more recently meat eating quality, and methane and carbon emissions. So look, again, we've got a super speaker from ICBF, in Clodagh Ryan, and she's going to talk through all that with us. And finally, just on the last topic, and again, Katie Quigley from ICBF is going to talk through this, and it's just the genetic defect testing and the current myostatin testing technologies available to ICBF, and I suppose to ourselves as well. Those of you who are members of us will know exactly that we've been testing for myostatin for a number of years now, and going forward, that is the plan to continue that. And just in recent months, we found a way of streamlining that even further, thanks to closer work with ICBF.